Hi there, my name is Sean. I'm with Interstate and TrailersPlus. Today we're going to show you how to install a 10x34 smooth aluminum fender on a 5x8 Victory enclosed Interstate. The personal protective equipment required for this install is a pair of safety glasses. The required tools for this is going to be the electric cordless screw gun. This is a drywall screw gun. Also, you're going to need a number 2 Roberts bit. You will also need a pair of lineman pliers, a 10-inch fender bit with a 3/8-inch socket on the end of it. The required hardware for the install will require fender clearance lights, beetle tape. The beetle tape is used to prevent shorts and covering the wires as we go through the install. Additional hardware for this is going to be an 1.25" hex head. You will also have electrical Scotch lock connection. Also hardware required is a 3/4 inch Pantech screw. This screw is utilized to install the fender clearance lights and also to ground the ground connection. The last hardware that is utilized in a fender installation is 1/8 inch foam tape. So I have the fender here. I have my 1/8 inch foam tape. I'm going to start out on the inside of the fender and I'm going to wrap it around one side. You want to keep this towards the inside because you do not want it to protrude to the outside of the trailer. Shows for poor cosmetics. Once the foam tape has been installed, you'll peel back the sticky back tape. This fender is now ready for install. Notice here that Interstate provides a rubber grommet which protects the wire that protrudes through the side of the skin. This grommet helps prevent shorts, fraying of wires. If your trailer does not have the rubber grommet, we advise our customers to use a little bit of silicone. This keeps the wire in place, preventing frayed wires and creating a short as it travels down the roadway. When going to mount the fender, we're going to lift the fender up to the base of the wire, allowing for a straight shot to our clearance light, which will be mounted on top of the fender. When setting the fender, we're going to make sure that it's level with the trailer. We're going to make sure that it's even with the wheel wells. Right now, I got a little forward. So I'm going to back this back like so. At this time, as I showed earlier, I have my fender bit. I've got my 1.25" hex head on there, ready to go. I'm going to take and set my first screw. Interstate provides a flat strap across the base of this behind the aluminum skin for us to mount this fender to. So I'm going to start in my upper corner. Alright, now I'm going to mount the other screw, which is catty corner from the first one that we put in. Okay. Now we're going to mount the front of the fender. We're going to have 2 hex heads that mount towards the front of this fender. Now, take note that the Interstate frame is 2x3 tube, and then on top of the 2x3 tube we have 1.25" angle, and we want to keep our hex heads within that 3-inch range so that we don't get caught in between the 2x3 tube and the 1.25" angle, which would make it very hard and difficult to mount the fender. So I'm going to load the next screw. We'll start out here on the bottom. We'll take that next one. I'll go about it. This here is going to take 1 1.25" hex head. And we're going to kind of split the middle difference on the tube. You want to ensure that your fender is pulled back past the aluminum trim so it looks nice and smooth. We're going to grab our fender clearance light. DOT requires amber light to be towards the front and the red light towards the rear. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ground the light. When I'm grounding this light, I'm just going to set it. Gives me an idea of how far in to put the screw. Okay? You want to keep this screw in line with the light so that the light stays flush. Once the light has been grounded, we are now going to grab our Scotch lock and we're going to connect the two wires. We're going to take the loose spree end wire, which is going to be our positive. I'm going to slide that through the Scotch lock. When connecting Scotch locks, you do not want wires protruding past the Scotch lock as shown here. You want to keep these wires tucked nice and tight back inside of the connection, which will prevent a short. Once your wires are in place, you'll grab your lineman pliers, crimp it down, close the clip. As earlier described, we have our beetle tape. This beetle tape is going to be used to protect any of the open possible connections that will short out while traveling down the roadway. Now with our beetle tape connections all covered up, we're ready to mount the light. We're going to take these connections, put them inside the light hardware, take the green wire, travel it down the neck of the light, and mount that nice and flush. We're going to grab a 3/4 inch pan head, and when we get ready to mount this, we want to make sure that we lightly put the screw in. We do not want to rev the gun up, jam it in. What will happen is this screw will pull through the light, ultimately resulting in a light falling off on the roadway. So at this time, we're going to grab our pan head. That's a rookie mistake right there. Lightly drop that in. We're going to take the next two, making sure that our green wire, nothing is protruding out, and we'll mount the back two. And this concludes our 10x34 smooth aluminum single axle fender install. This is the same install procedure that is conducted on all single axle trailers.